The alarms screamed through every corridor of Harmony's light. Director Yoon Seo ran toward the control center, her heart pounding. She had managed this research station for 8 years. Nothing like this had ever happened. "Report!" she shouted as the doors opened. Taemin looked up from his security console. His face was pale. "Unknown ships. Hundreds of them. They just appeared at the edge of our sensor range." Yoon Seo stared at the screens. The ships looked organic, like giant insects made of metal and flesh. They moved in perfect formation, closing fast on the station. "Hail them," she ordered. The communications officer tried. Once, twice, 3 times. No response. Then the first weapon struck. The station shook violently. Lights flickered. People screamed. Yoon Seo grabbed the console to stay standing. "Shields are down to 60%, Taemin called out. "They're using some kind of acid weapon. It's eating through our hull." "Return fire." "We can't. This is a research station, Director. We only have mining lasers." Yoon Seo felt ice in her stomach. Harmony's light held over 3,000 people, scientists, families, children, and they had almost no weapons. "Send a distress call to the Coalition Council," she said quietly. "Tell them we're under attack." The message went out at light speed. It would take hours to reach the nearest Coalition world, days to reach the capital. The alien ships surrounded the station like sharks. They fired again and again. Each impact shook the entire structure. People ran through the corridors trying to reach escape pods. "Should we evacuate?" someone asked. Yoon Seo looked at the tactical display. The alien ships had surrounded them completely. "The pods won't make it. They'll shoot them down. We have to hold here and hope help comes." Taemin activated every security measure they had. Force fields over critical areas. Locked doors. He armed his small security team with whatever they could find. It wasn't much. Hours passed. The attack continued. The aliens seemed to be testing the station's defenses, probing for weak points. They weren't trying to destroy Harmony's light. They wanted something else. "They're trying to board us," Taemin realized. "Look at their formation. They're getting ready to send troops inside." Yoon Seo made her decision. "Get everyone to the central sections. Seal all the outer areas. We make our stand there." Far away, in the great chamber of the Coalition Council, the distress call finally arrived. The council chamber was beautiful. 47 different species sat in a circle, representing every civilized world in the galaxy. For 3,000 years, they had lived in peace. War was a word from ancient history. An attack? Council leader Velthos couldn't believe it. His species had evolved on a gentle world with low gravity and warm oceans. Violence was foreign to him. "That's impossible. There hasn't been a war in 3 millennia. "The message is clear," another counselor said. "A research station is under attack by unknown hostiles. We must send help immediately." "With what?" Velthos asked sadly. "We have no warships, no weapons. We have civilian vessels with light shields and mining equipment." The counselors looked at each other with growing fear. They had no idea what to do. Then Bo Young stood up. She was human. Her people had joined the coalition only 50 years ago. Most of the other species still felt uncomfortable around humans. Earth was classified as a Class 12 death world. The gravity there was crushing, the weather was violent, predators hunted everywhere. And worst of all, humans had spent their entire history fighting wars against each other. "We will handle this," Bo Young said. Her voice was cold and calm. "Your people?" Velthos hesitated. "The humans?" "Yes. But you have no military either. The coalition charter forbids it. You agreed when you joined us." Bo Young smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "We agreed not to have a military inside coalition space. We never said anything about what we keep around Earth." The chamber went silent. "You kept weapons?" Velthos whispered. "Even after joining us?" "Of course we did. We're from a death world, counselor. We know what lives in the dark places of the galaxy. We know that peace only lasts as long as good people are ready to fight. This is against everything the Coalition stands for. Bo Young leaned forward. Right now, 3,000 people are dying on that station. You can debate philosophy later. Do you want our help or not? Velthos looked at the other counselors. None of them met his eyes. They were afraid, but they had no choice. Very well, he said quietly. Earth may respond to the distress call. Bo Young touched her communicator. This is Counselor Bo Young to Earth Fleet Command. Authorization code Omega-7. Deploy the 3rd Battle Fleet immediately. Full weapons free. No prisoners. Across the chamber, the other counselors heard those words. No prisoners. They began to understand what they had just unleashed. On Harmony's Light, Yun Seo and Tai Min didn't know help was coming. They just kept fighting. The aliens broke through the outer hull. Creatures poured into the station. They were tall and covered in sharp armor. They moved fast and killed anything they found. Taemin and his security team fought them in the corridors. They used mining tools and makeshift weapons. They died one by one, buying time for the civilians to hide. Yun Seo sealed herself in the control center with the last survivors. She could hear the aliens cutting through the door. She looked at the stars outside and whispered a prayer. Please, someone, anyone, help us. In the darkness of space, 3 light years away, Admiral Dong Hyun received his orders. His flagship, Eternal Wrath, came alive. 200 warships activated their engines. Weapons charged. Marines loaded their guns. The 3rd Terran battle fleet turned toward Harmony's Light. The Deathworlders were coming. Admiral Dong Hyun stood on the bridge of Eternal Wrath and watched his fleet come to life. He was 60 years old and had served in Earth's Navy for 40 of them. He had fought pirates, rebels, and once a rogue AI that tried to destroy Mars. But this was different. All ships report ready, sir, his first officer said. Good. Set course for Harmony's Light. Maximum speed. The navigation officer looked worried. Sir, maximum speed means using the dangerous jump routes. The gravity wells are unstable. Coalition ships never use them. Dong Hyun smiled coldly. Coalition ships aren't built on a death world. Make the jump. The fleet entered hyperspace. The acceleration pushed everyone back into their seats. 2 gravities. For humans, it was uncomfortable but manageable. For any coalition species, it would have crushed their bones. In the Marine Bay, Commander Hei Rin walked between the rows of soldiers. She was tall and strong, with scars on her face from a dozen battles. Her Marines stood at attention in their armor. Listen up, she said. We're going to rescue a research station. Civilians are trapped. Hostile aliens are killing them. Our job is simple. Get in. Kill everything that isn't friendly. Get our people out. Questions? A young Marine raised his hand. Commander, what if the aliens try to surrender? Hayrin stared at him. Did you read the briefing? They attacked a civilian station. They're killing unarmed scientists. If they surrender, we'll arrest them and let the courts deal with it. But I wouldn't count on them being smart enough to surrender. Another Marine spoke up. What kind of weapons do they have? Some kind of bioacid that melts ship hulls. Close combat claws. They're big and armored. But remember your training. Size doesn't matter. Speed and precision win fights. The Marines nodded. They had trained for years. Each one could fight in zero gravity, toxic atmospheres, extreme heat, or cold. They could use 20 different weapons and fight hand-to-hand against enemies twice their size. They were from Earth. Fighting was in their blood. In the fighter bay, Ji-sung checked his interceptor for the 5th time. Everything was perfect. His weapons were loaded. His shields were charged. His AI co-pilot was running at full capacity. You're nervous, Sun Hee said. She was his wingman, his partner for 3 years. They had flown together through combat zones and asteroid fields. Aren't you? Ji-sung asked. Of course. But that's good. Nervous pilots are careful pilots. Careful, pilots, stay alive. Ji-sung laughed. And then we make the enemy not alive. Exactly. The fighter squadron leader's voice came over the intercom. All pilots to briefing room. Move it. 60 pilots gathered in the small room. The hologram showed the tactical situation. Harmony's light surrounded by hundreds of alien ships. This is a rescue mission, the squadron leader said. Our job is to clear a path for the Marine drop ships. That means killing every enemy fighter that gets close. The Admiral wants total space superiority in 30 minutes. 30 minutes? Someone asked. Against hundreds of hostiles? You heard me. 30 minutes. We're human pilots flying human fighters. They won't know what hit them. In the medical bay, Dr. Kyung-ho studied the data they had on the aliens. The information was limited. Just some sensor readings and a few broken transmissions from Harmony's light. The aliens looked like insects, chitinous armor, multiple limbs, acid weapons. They moved in swarm patterns, like a hive mind controlling them. Fascinating, he muttered. His assistant looked at him strangely. Fascinating. They're killing people. I know. And we're going to stop them. But from a biological perspective, they're remarkable. I've never seen anything like this. A species that evolved for pure aggression. Like humans? Kyung-ho shook his head. No. Humans evolved for survival. We learned to fight because our world tried to kill us every single day. These aliens, they evolved to hunt and conquer. There's a difference. What difference? We know when to stop. The fleet traveled through hyperspace at speeds that would terrify Coalition navigators. They crossed 3 light-years in 36 hours. It should have taken 2 weeks using safe routes. Admiral Dong-hyun stood on the bridge and watched the countdown. 3 hours until they arrived. 2 hours. 1 hour. All ships, battle stations, he ordered. Prepare to drop from hyperspace in combat formation. Weapons hot. Shields maximum. I want those aliens to see us and know they made a mistake. The crew moved with practiced efficiency. They had drilled for this scenario 1,000 times. Every person knew their job. Sir, the communications officer called out, we're receiving a transmission from the alien fleet. Put it on speaker. A harsh, clicking sound filled the bridge. The computer translated it into rough English. Unknown vessels. This territory claimed by the swarm. Retreat or be destroyed. Dong-hyun leaned forward. Send a response. Full broadcast. I want every ship in that system to hear this. Yes, sir. Attention, hostile forces. This is Admiral Dong-hyun of the 3rd Terran Battle Fleet. You have attacked civilians under Coalition protection. You have exactly 10 seconds to withdraw all forces and surrender. If you do not comply, we will consider you enemies of humanity, and we will show you what that means. The alien response came back immediately. More clicking sounds. The translation was simple. You threaten us, you die like the others. Dong-hyun smiled. Weapons free. All ships engage on my mark. Commander Hae-rin locked her helmet in place. Her Marines were strapped into their drop pods, ready to launch. Ji-sung and Sun-hee sat in their fighters, engines warming up. Dr. Kyung-ho strapped himself into a medical station, preparing for casualties. Throughout the fleet, 20,000 human warriors made ready for battle. The countdown reached 0. Mark! Dong-hyun shouted. 200 warships dropped out of hyperspace in perfect attack formation. They appeared 5,000 kilometers from the alien fleet, like ghosts materializing from nothing. The aliens had milliseconds to react. It wasn't enough. The human fleet opened fire. Railguns launched tungsten slugs at 40% of light speed. Missiles streaked across space, each one carrying enough explosive to crack a small moon. Point defense lasers created a wall of light that nothing could pass through. The first wave of alien ships simply ceased to exist, vaporized, shattered, gone. Enemy fleet is breaking formation, the tactical officer reported. They're trying to scatter. Don't let them, Dong-hyun ordered. I want every single ship destroyed. No survivors. No witnesses who can warn their friends that humanity is coming. The battle had begun. The Deathworlders showed the galaxy what they were capable of. And the aliens learned too late that some prey bites back. The alien fleet had 500 ships. They had surrounded Harmony's light like predators around wounded prey. They had weapons that could melt through station hulls. They had warriors bred for killing. They had never met humans before. The first alien ship to die never saw what killed it. A railgun slug traveling at 120,000 kilometers per second hit it dead center. The kinetic energy turned the ship into an expanding cloud of superheated gas. 10 more died in the next second. "Enemy fighters launching!" the tactical officer on Eternal Wrath called out. "Counting 200, no, 300 small craft!" "Launch our fighters," Admiral Dong-hyun ordered calmly. "Show them how Earth does air superiority." Ji-sung felt his fighter launch from the bay. The acceleration pushed him back into his seat. 3 gravities, 4, 5. His fighter shot into space like a bullet. "Squadron, form up on me," his leader commanded. "We're going straight through their formation. Make every shot count." Sun-hee's fighter pulled up beside Ji-sung. "Ready to rack up some kills?" "Always." 60 human fighters met 300 alien craft head-on. The aliens flew in swarm patterns, moving together like a school of fish. It made them coordinated but predictable. Ji-sung locked onto the first enemy fighter. His targeting computer marked it red. He fired. The missile hit perfectly. The alien ship exploded. "One down," he muttered. Sun-hee got 3 in the first pass. Her weapons were accurate and fast. The alien fighters tried to surround them, but human pilots were faster. They broke formation and reformed instantly. They flew patterns that would tear apart alien pilots with the G-forces. "Splash 4!" someone shouted over the comm. "Got 6 more! Watch your 6! Enemy on your tail!" Ji-sung rolled his fighter and fired his reverse thrusters. His pursuer shot past him. He locked on and fired. Another kill. The battle lasted 4 minutes. At the end, 300 alien fighters were debris. 60 human fighters were intact. 2 had taken minor damage. "Reform and prepare for ground support," the squadron leader ordered. "The Marines are going in." On the station, Yoon Seo heard the explosions outside. Through the windows, she could see flashes of light. Ships were dying out there. "What's happening?" someone asked. Tae-min checked his sensors. They were barely working. Damaged from the alien attack. "I'm reading new ships, dozens of them. They're engaging the aliens." "Coalition reinforcements?" "I don't think so. These ships are different. They're moving too fast. And they're using weapons I've never seen before." Hope flickered in Yoon Seo's chest. Maybe they would survive after all. Commander Hyrin's drop pod hit the station's outer hull at high speed. The impact would have killed most species. She barely felt it. "Marines, breach and clear," she commanded. Explosive charges blew open the hull. 50 Marines in powered armor poured into the station. The first thing they saw was bodies, coalition civilians, dead in the corridors, scientists, engineers, families. "Hostiles ahead!" someone shouted. The aliens were in the main corridor, 20 of them. They were 3 meters tall with thick armor plates and sharp claws. They turned to face the Marines. Hyrin didn't hesitate. "Open fire!" Gunfire filled the corridor. The human weapons were designed to punch through tank armor. The alien shells didn't stand a chance. The creatures screamed and charged forward. "Hold the line!" Hyrin ordered. The Marines stood their ground. They fired in controlled bursts. Every shot counted. The aliens fell one by one. One creature made it through and swung its claws at a Marine. The blow would have cut a person in half. But the Marine was wearing powered armor. He caught the claw, twisted it, and snapped it off. Then he put his rifle against the alien's head and fired. "Clear!" he called out. The team moved forward. They found more aliens in every section. Some were killing civilians. Others were taking prisoners. The Marines showed no mercy. "Sir, we found a group of survivors," one Marine called. Hayrin ran to the location. 20 civilians huddled in a sealed room. They looked terrified. "It's okay," she said, removing her helmet. "We're here to help. Can you walk?" A scientist nodded. Yes, we can walk." "Good. Stay close to my team. We'll get you to the evacuation ships." They moved through the station, finding survivors and eliminating aliens. The creatures fought hard, but human training was better. Taemin and his last 3 security officers held the control center. They had barricaded the door with furniture and equipment. The aliens were cutting through. "This is it," one officer said. "We're out of ammunition." Taemin gripped a metal rod, ready to fight hand to hand. "Then we fight with whatever we have." The door burst open. An alien pushed through, claws ready. Then its head exploded. A human Marine stood behind it, rifle smoking. "Coalition security?" "Yes!" Taemin gasped. "Good! We're here to extract you. Follow us." More Marines poured in. They cleared the room in seconds. "Where's your director?" the Marine asked. "Below us. Sealed shelter on level 3. "We'll get her. You get to the evacuation point. Move!" Hayrin reached level 3 and found the shelter door. It was locked from the inside. "This is Commander Hayrin, Earth Marines. Is anyone in there?" A voice came through the intercom. "This is Director Yoon Seo. Are you really human?" "Yes, ma'am. We're here to rescue you." The door opened. Yoon Seo stood there with 200 civilians behind her. She had cuts and bruises. Her clothes were torn. But she was alive. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you so much." "Don't thank me yet. We still need to get you out. Can everyone walk?" "Yes." "Then let's move. Stay in the middle of my formation. If anything moves, we shoot it." They evacuated the civilians to the Marine dropships. Above them, the human fleet continued to destroy alien vessels. The battle was completely one-sided. Admiral Dong-hyun watched the tactical display. 400 alien ships destroyed, 98 remaining. They were trying to flee. "Don't let them escape," he ordered. "Hunt down every single one. I don't want any of them reporting back to wherever they came from." The human ships spread out. They chased the fleeing aliens across the system. One by one, they caught them and destroyed them. Dr. Kyung-ho was treating wounded civilians in the medical bay. Most had minor injuries. Some were in shock. "You're safe now," he told them. "You're on a human ship. Nothing can hurt you here." An alien child looked up at him. "Are humans really from a death world?" Kyung-ho smiled gently. "Yes, Earth is dangerous, but that means we know how to protect others from danger." On the bridge, the tactical officer made his report. "Sir, all alien ships destroyed. We're reading 0 hostile contacts." Dong-hyun nodded. "Good. Secure the station and begin damage assessment. And find me data on these aliens. I want to know where they came from." The scanners found something. Biological data in the destroyed ships, genetic markers, a trail leading back through space. "Sir," the science officer said, "I can trace their origin. They came from a system 40 light-years from here." "Their home?" "Most likely." Dong-hyun stood up. "Prepare the fleet for jump. We're going to visit them." "Sir?" The officer looked confused. "We rescued the station. The mission is complete." Dong-hyun's eyes were cold and hard. "No. The mission is complete when every single one of these creatures knows that attacking humans has consequences." Dr. Kyung-ho worked in his lab while the fleet traveled through hyperspace. He had samples from the destroyed alien ships, biological material, genetic code, technology. "This is incredible," he said to his assistant. "They're not just a species, they're a hive mind. Every individual connected to a central intelligence." "Can you find their home system?" "Already did. The genetic markers show a clear origin point." A yellow star with 6 planets. The 4th one is their homeworld. He sent his findings to Admiral Dong Hyun. The admiral read the report and called his senior officers together. "We now know where these aliens come from," he said. "Their homeworld is 40 light-years away. Estimated population is 40 billion. They have 15 orbital hive stations." Commander Hae Rin leaned forward. 40 billion? That's a lot of hostiles. Yes, but here's the important part. They attacked Harmony's light without warning, killed civilians, took prisoners. In human law, that's a war crime. What are you suggesting, sir? Dong Hyun's face was hard. I'm suggesting we make sure they never do it again. Lieutenant Sun Hee raised her hand. Sir, shouldn't we consult with the Coalition Council? This is a big decision. I already contacted them. The holoscreen showed the Coalition Council chamber. Counselor Bo Young stood before the assembly. The humans want to attack the alien homeworld, Council Leader Velthos said. His voice shook. This is genocide. No, Bo Young replied calmly. This is justice. They attacked first. They killed innocent people. Every human law, every coalition law says we have the right to defend ourselves. But to attack their home? To kill billions? Would you prefer we wait for them to attack again? Maybe next time they'll hit a school station or a colony world with children. The council chamber went silent. We saved your research station, Bo Young continued. We rescued your people. We destroyed the fleet that attacked you. Now we're going to make sure it never happens again. You can vote to stop us if you want, but then you'll be responsible for the next attack. Velthos looked at the other counselors. None would meet his eyes. Do what you must, he whispered. Back on Eternal Wrath, Admiral Dong Hyun addressed his fleet. We have authorization from the Coalition Council. Our mission is clear. We will enter the alien home system. We will neutralize their military capability. We will ensure they never threaten Coalition space again. This will not be easy. This will not be clean. But it is necessary. The 3rd Battle Fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the alien system. What they saw was terrifying. 15 massive stations orbited the planet. Each one was 30 kilometers across, built from organic material and metal. They looked like giant wasps' nests floating in space. Around them flew thousands of ships, fighters, frigates, capital ships. The aliens had been preparing for war. Sir, we're being hailed, the communications officer said. Let's hear it. The alien queen's voice came through. It was translated by computer, but the anger was clear. You destroyed our attack fleet. You will pay for that insult. Leave now, or we will destroy every one of your ships. Admiral Dong Hyun smiled. Negative. You attacked civilians under our protection. Under human law, that means war. And in war, we don't take half measures. Surrender now or face annihilation. You dare threaten us? We are 40 billion strong. We have ruled this sector for 1,000 years. You are nothing. We're from Earth. And we're going to teach you what that means. The Admiral cut the transmission. All ships, engage. Destroy those stations. Launch all fighters, Marines. Prepare for orbital assault. Ji-sung's fighter launched along with 500 others. They screamed toward the alien stations at maximum thrust. The aliens launched their own fighters, thousands of them. They swarmed like insects, filling space with their numbers. There's too many, someone shouted. Doesn't matter, Ji-sung replied. Just keep shooting. The two forces collided. Human fighters weaved through the alien swarm. They used missiles, railguns, lasers, every weapon they had. Ji-sung locked onto target after target. Fire, roll, evade, fire again. His computer counted his kills. 5, 10, 15. Sun Hee flew beside him, her weapons blazing. I'm at 20 kills! Show off! An alien fighter got behind Ji-sung. He saw it on his sensors too late. Sun Hee shot it down before it could fire. Pay attention! Thanks! The battle raged for 20 minutes. Then the alien fighters began to retreat. They had lost over half their number. The humans had lost 32 fighters. "All fighters regroup," the squadron leader ordered. "Prepare to provide cover for the Marine assault." Commander Rin stood in the drop bay with 50,000 Marines, the largest assault force Earth had ever deployed. "Listen up," she shouted. "We're going to take those stations. There will be millions of hostiles. They will fight hard. They will use every trick they know. But we are from Earth. We survived the worst planet in the galaxy. We can handle some bugs." The Marines cheered. "Drop pods launching in 30 seconds. Your target assignments are on your HUD. Get in. Kill the enemy. Secure the objective. Simple, right?" "Yes, ma'am." "Then let's go to work." The drop pods launched. 50,000 armored Marines fell toward the alien stations like meteorites. They hit the hull at high speed. Breaching charges blew holes in the organic material. The Marines poured inside. What they found was nightmare. The stations were filled with alien warriors. Each one was 3 meters tall, armored, and armed with bioweapons. They swarmed the Marines from every direction. But humans had fought in trenches, in jungles, in ruined cities. They knew how to fight when surrounded. Marine Wansik held a corridor alone when his squad got separated. 50 aliens charged at him. He fired until his rifle ran dry. Then he drew his sidearm. When that was empty, he used his combat knife. When the knife broke, he used his armored fists. When his squad found him 10 minutes later, he was standing in a pile of alien bodies. His armor was covered in acid burns and claw marks. "Wansik, are you okay?" his sergeant asked. He nodded. "Yeah, but I'm gonna need new armor." Field medic Yoon-ji ran through the combat zones, treating wounded Marines. Bullets and acid flew around her. She didn't care. A Marine took a claw to the chest. His armor held, but he was hurt. "Stay still," Yoon-ji ordered. She injected painkillers and sealed the wound. "You'll live. Get back to fighting." "Thanks, Doc." "Don't thank me. Thank your armor." Commander Rin led her assault team deeper into the station. They fought through corridor after corridor. The aliens just kept coming. "How many of these things are there?" someone asked. "Millions," Rin replied. "But we only need to kill one." They reached the central chamber. The queen waited there. She was massive, 10 meters tall, surrounded by royal guards. "Humans," she hissed. "You should have run when you had the chance." Rin raised her rifle. "We don't run. We finish fights." The guards charged. The Marines opened fire. The battle was brutal. The guards were stronger and bigger than normal aliens. But the Marines were faster and smarter. One by one, the guards fell. The queen screamed and attacked Rin directly. Rin rolled under the claws. She came up behind the queen and fired her rifle at point-blank range. The shots punched through the queen's armor. The massive alien fell. "Target eliminated," Rin reported. "Station 1 is secure." Across the system, the other Marine teams reported similar success. All 15 stations fell within 6 hours. Admiral Dong-hyun watched from his ship as the stations went dark one by one. "Sir, what do we do with them now?" his first officer asked. Dong-hyun was quiet for a moment. Then he gave the order that would echo through the galaxy. "Destroy them all." The human fleet surrounded the 15 hive stations. Each station held millions of aliens. The warriors were dead, but civilians remained. Workers, drones, young. Admiral Dong-hyun stood on his bridge and looked at the tactical display. His finger hovered over the firing command. "Sir," his first officer said quietly, "there are civilians on those stations." "I know. We could accept their surrender. Take prisoners." Dong-hyun turned to face him. "And what happens in 10 years, 20? They rebuild. They remember what happened here. They come back for revenge. But next time they'll be ready for us. Next time they might win. So we kill them all? We make sure this never happens again." He pressed the button. The fleet's railguns fired. Tungsten slugs moving at impossible speeds hit the stations. The kinetic energy was massive. Each impact released energy equal to a small nuclear weapon. The stations shattered, broke apart, fell toward the planet below. 40 billion aliens lived on the home world. They watched their orbital stations die. They watched the debris rain down from space, and they learned what it meant to anger humans. The human fleet didn't stop there. They destroyed every shipyard, every weapon factory, every piece of technology that could let the aliens reach space again. They didn't kill everyone. But they made sure the aliens would never leave their planet, never threaten anyone again. When it was done, Admiral Dong-hyun sent one final message to the planet's surface. You attacked innocent people. You tortured prisoners. You started a war. This is how wars end when you fight humans. Remember this. Tell your children, tell your children's children, never attack the Coalition again. Never attack Earth. Because next time, we won't leave anyone alive. He cut the transmission and ordered the fleet to return home. On the journey back, Dr. Kyung-ho wrote his report. He sat in his lab surrounded by data and samples. Final analysis, he recorded. The alien species, designated as the Swarm, evolved on a low-gravity world with abundant resources. They never faced serious threats. They never had to fight for survival. They thought themselves invincible. He paused. They were wrong. Humanity evolved on Earth. Class 12 Death World. We faced predators that hunted us, weather that killed us, diseases that wiped out entire populations. We learned to fight, or we died. This is what makes us different. We understand violence, we understand war, and we know when it's necessary. He closed the report and sent it to Earth Command. The 3rd Battle Fleet arrived back at Harmony's Light 3 days later. The station was being repaired. New sections were being built. Life was returning to normal. Director Yoon Seo and Security Chief Tai Min stood at the observation deck and watched the human ships arrive. They saved us, Yoon Seo said softly. And then they destroyed an entire civilization, Tai Min replied. Does that bother you? He thought about it. I don't know. They attacked us first. They killed our people. The humans made sure it won't happen again. But the cost? 40 billion lives, Yoon Seo whispered. Most of them had nothing to do with the attack. They watched in silence as the ships docked. Commander Hai-rin came aboard the station to check on the survivors. She walked through the repaired corridors and saw the people she had saved. A child ran up to her. Thank you for saving us. Hai-rin knelt down. You're welcome. Are you okay? Yes. The doctors fixed my arm. Good. You're safe now. Nothing will hurt you again. The child hugged her and ran off. Hai-rin stood up. Won-sik was beside her, still wearing bandages from the assault. Do you think we did the right thing? He asked. We followed orders. We protected Coalition civilians. We eliminated a threat. That's not what I asked. Hai-rin was quiet. I don't know, Won-sik. I've been a soldier for 20 years. I've fought a lot of battles. But this was different. We didn't just win. We annihilated them. Would you do it again? If it meant saving lives like that child? Yes, every time. On Earth, the Coalition Council met in emergency session. Every species sent representatives. The chamber was packed. Council leader Veltos stood at the center. We called this meeting to discuss the human actions in the swarm conflict. Counselor Bo Young stood calmly beside him. The humans destroyed an entire civilization, Veltos continued. Billions died. This goes against everything the Coalition stands for. They attacked first, Bo Young replied. They killed our people. Under Coalition law, we had the right to defend ourselves. But total destruction? That's genocide. No, we left survivors. We just made sure they could never attack again. Another counselor stood. You humans are too dangerous. You should never have been allowed to join the coalition." "Really?" Bo Young's voice turned cold. "Who saved Harmony's light? Who stopped the swarm? You? Your peaceful species with no weapons and no warriors? You called for help and we answered? You don't get to complain about our methods." The chamber erupted in argument. Some species agreed with Bo Young. Others were horrified by human actions. Finally, Velthos raised his hand for silence. "We need to vote on humanity's place in the coalition. Do we expel them for their actions, or do we accept that they did what was necessary?" The vote took hours. Species argued and debated, but in the end, the decision was clear. Velthos announced the result. "By unanimous vote, we have decided to create the Deathworld Clause. From this day forward, humanity will serve as the military force of the coalition. In times of war, humans will have full authority over military decisions. No other species will question their methods or tactics." Bo Young smiled. "And in return?" "In return, Earth maintains full sovereignty. No one interferes with your world or your people. You are free to keep your weapons, your ships, your warriors, and the coalition will never ask you to disarm." Agreed. The treaty was signed that day. 47 species put their marks on the document. Some signed willingly, others signed because they were afraid. Admiral Dong Hyun received the news while in hyperspace heading home. He read the treaty and nodded. "We're the coalition's military now," he told his officers. "That means more responsibility, more missions, more fighting." "Are we okay with that?" someone asked. "We're from Earth. Fighting is what we do, but now we fight to protect others. That's worth it." The fleet arrived home to a hero's welcome. Parades, ceremonies, awards. But Dong Hyun didn't feel like a hero. He felt like a man who had done something terrible but necessary. That night he sat alone in his quarters and looked at Earth through the window. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds. It looked peaceful from space. But he knew the truth. Earth was a death world, and humans were its children. They had learned to survive by being stronger, faster, smarter, more ruthless than anything else. Now they would use those skills to protect the weak, to guard the peaceful species that couldn't guard themselves. It was a heavy burden, but humans had carried heavy burdens before. 1 year later, Director Yoon Seo stood on the rebuilt Harmony's light and watched a human patrol ship pass by. It moved silently through space, weapons ready, sensors scanning for threats. "They're always watching now," Taemin said beside her. "Does that make you feel safe or scared?" "Both." Yoon Seo nodded. "Me too." They watched as more ships arrived. Humans had built stations throughout Coalition space. Guard posts, military bases, early warning systems. The galaxy had been at peace for 3,000 years. Now it had protectors who understood war. "We called for help," Yoon Seo said quietly, remembering that desperate day. "And they sent war itself." "And for the first time in 3,000 years," Taemin replied, "the galaxy knows fear again." But it wasn't fear of the swarm or other hostile species. It was fear of what humanity would do to protect its friends. In the darkness between stars, other aggressive species watched and learned. They saw what happened to the swarm. They saw human warships patrolling coalition borders, and they decided to look elsewhere for conquest. The galaxy had changed. Humans had arrived, and nothing would ever be the same.